Hi everyone. Welcome to our discussion today on how customer-driven agenda is shaping up the future of insurance. I am Gürol Kurt, co-founder of Alternate-CX, which is hosting our discussion today. Alternate-CX is an AI-based voice of customer solution that helps companies capture direct and indirect feedback during customer interactions, understand root causes of dissatisfaction, and address them with relevant actions before these issues become bigger problems. I'm delighted to be joined today by Kurt Neckebrouck. As the market development head, Kurt has led award-winning customer projects at Baloise Insurance, which is a leading European-based insurance group that provides prevention, pension, assistance, and insurance solutions. Welcome, Kurt. It is great to have you with us today. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem, no problem. Happy to be here.
Perfect. Nice to have you here with us. So we have a lot to cover today. In our discussions, we'll be covering how customer experience and NPS is managed at Baloise as a group, how Baloise is positioning itself in the new reality following COVID-19, and what are some of the expected drivers that they are expecting that will be shaping up the future of insurance and how Baloise Insurance is preparing for them. So let's begin with our chat. My first question, Kurt, is how important is customer experience and NPS at Baloise Insurance? Can you maybe tell us the story, how CX became a strategic pillar for you guys and how you are managing customer experience at Baloise?
Okay, no problem. Well, actually, customer satisfaction and NPS in general are key issues or are key elements for Baloise Insurance. First of all, you need to understand the Belgian insurance market, which is quite different than the insurance markets in other European countries or in other parts of the world in global, actually. The insurance market in Belgium is mainly driven by independent insurance brokers, meaning that insurers, like for instance Baloise Insurance, use the independent network of independent brokers that are providing Baloise Insurance propositions, but as well propositions from competitors. These brokers, they represent about 60% of the total sales generated in Belgian insurance. 60%, which is quite a lot, and even though there are some direct initiatives, the percentage remains quite stable. The trend is that it will most likely remain stable in that perspective. So that's one part. Secondly, Belgium is, as you may know or you may not know, is a rather small market, and moreover, it's also a saturated market, meaning that, pretty much everybody who owns a house or drives a car has either a home or a car insurance. So if you want to remain stable as an insurance company, or if you want to grow, you need to go looking. First of all, you need to make sure that the customers who are in your customer wallet remain loyal to you and stay in your wallet. And if you want to grow, well, you have to look for the clients elsewhere, mainly with other insurers. So those are two key elements. So taking that into account, we have pretty much two kind of customers. On the one hand, we have the independent broker who is in charge of our distribution strategy. We need to approach him as a client as well. Secondly, we have the end customer, the one who pays the bill, who uses our services. Well, obviously, we want to know how he thinks and feels about the Baloise treatment. So those are the key. Those are the two clients we are focusing on. Let me maybe dive into each target group a little bit more into depth. First of all, the broker. As I said, the majority of our top line business is generated via this independent channel. So therefore, it's crucial to understand what the broker actually thinks of us. What are his needs? What are his thoughts about the service he gets from Baloise Insurance? So in order to find out, and similar to other companies, we started back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, with measuring the NPS score of the broker. How does the broker perceive Baloise Insurance? Is he an advocate or is he rather a distractor? Does he have specific needs that we are already meeting, or are there specific needs that we don't meet yet? So that's why we started doing this on a quarterly basis, meaning that every quarter we send out an NPS questionnaire to, we have about 1,500 to 2,500 independent brokers working with us that we target. We ask them, how do you feel about us? And well, obviously an NPS score is only just a number. It is also, it's a barometer, it's a picture of how they think of you. We go beyond. We also do callbacks. If a broker gives us a bad score, we contact him to find out, hey, Gurol, we've seen this bad score. What can we do to improve? And we start implementing those improvements. That's what we are doing basically every year. At the end of the year, we make an analysis of the key elements that we perceived or received from our target audience. And at least the top three, we try to tackle immediately. In many cases, it's about IT improvements. It's about digitization of certain processes, making specific processes more user-friendly for the broker, making it easier for the broker to sell. Or it can also be something very concrete. A very concrete example that we implemented this year was we upstaffed our contact center because we got some feedback from brokers that it needed something extra. So if there's a possibility, if it's low-hanging fruit, if it's affordable, we try to implement it immediately. Now, this is what we do ourselves. This is a study that we set up, as I said, back in 2016, so about 4 years ago, in order to make sure that, to double check actually what we are measuring. We're also participating to the bi-yearly Benthurst study, just to make sure that the things that we measure are aligned with what Benthurst is measuring. And secondly, it also gives us an idea about how we are positioned compared to, for instance, our immediate competitors. Now, so far so good. As one of the sole insurers, we are actually progressing quite well. And compared to the study of 2 years ago, we moved 20 points up, so which is rather good. We have a very positive NPS score, which is also stable compared with what we are measuring ourselves. One of the biggest compliments that we got in that perspective is that last year we were elected as the most broker-friendly insurer in Belgium. It's an award given away by the broker federations. So it actually means a lot for us being a broker-oriented insurance company in Belgium. For us, it's the ultimate proof that the investments that we've done actually pay off. Now, so far for the broker part, I mean, if you have any additional questions, feel free. But moving to the end customer, it's something else, because in Baloise, how bizarre or weird it may sound, we have very few direct customer contact. More importantly, if we interact with customers, it's hardly ever in a pleasant situation. It means that you have a claim, that your house got flooded, that lightning struck, that you had a car accident and your car had to be towed. So it's never like a fun situation. What we try to do is to, obviously, to provide the best possible service available for the end customer. But what we do to understand how the customer perceives it is every 2 years, so every other year, we do a rather big customer satisfaction survey where we compare or where we target different kind of customers. Customers who needed our help and hence had a claim, as well as customers who never used our service so far, um, just to understand how they perceive us. Now, it's a very special situation because one of the last during the last survey, the feedback that we got was that the customer is very satisfied, which is obviously a good thing. But, and that's a very important one, when we're talking about loyalty and trust, they mainly feel loyal and they mainly give their trust to their broker. So it's very common that Gurol, for instance, imagine you live somewhere in Brussels, you have a car, your car is insured with Baloise via a broker. If I ask you on the street, who are you insured with? I'm insured with broker Alpay, for instance. The chance that they're going to say I'm insured at Baloise is rather small. The relationship is between the client and the broker. So that's a big challenge for us. How are we going to position ourselves as Baloise to deal with this situation? Now, besides all that, in many cases, customers use services provided by our service partners. We have Baloise Assistance, which is a branded assistance provider that uses the services of different companies. So every time you use this, we have implemented a system that every time you use it, you automatically get a customer satisfaction survey afterwards. So combined with the survey that we do ourselves, we try to have a pretty good idea about how our services are perceived, how the offering of Baloise is perceived. And to top all of that, we do very frequent pulse studies to see how our brand awareness is evolving, how the satisfaction level is evolving. So there we're also investing quite a lot of time and energy. Now, in everything that we do, we put the customer first. The end customer, despite the fact that we have very little contact, direct contact with him, we try to really put him in the center. If we, for instance, develop a new product, we always think, how would the customer feel about that? Now, in order to make that happen, we created 4 different personas, which we gave a funny name, and it pretty much describes who they are. It's a rational Roger, so it's a guy who is very rational, who wants the right insurance at the right price, not too much fuss, straightforward, easy processes. That's rational Roger. We also have critical Chris, who's the guy who's always challenging everything. He's like, yeah, but do I really need that? Why would I buy it with Baloise? Why is my broker proposing this to me? That's the kind of guy. Then you also have reassured Robin, who, whatever happens, she wants to be reassured. She wants to be covered. She wants to make sure that better safe than sorry. And then you have transactional Tina, who is more the youngster, who's very price driven, who jumps from one occasion to another, and who's very influential, who can be easily influenced. Sorry. So if we develop something, a new product, or we put a new service in place, we always think, what would Roger, Chris, Robin, and Tina think about it? So that's how we approach the voice of the customer and everything that has to do with it. I hope that pretty much answers your question.
It does actually, Kurt. I was also thinking when you were explaining how you guys are managing CX at Baloise. So it seems like throughout the customer experience journey, like you said, and this is a common challenge for insurance companies, the typical experience where the company is connecting with the customer is where a claim happens, where something bad happens. However, there is the entire journey, like looking for the optimum policies, getting recommendation from the broker, maybe calling the contact center to ask for something, and everything else. So it seems like you guys have looked at the entirety of the relationship, not just the claim part, but the entire journey stages, indirectly through the brokers, making brokers happy, making sure that their operation is smooth and they're happy with it, is indirectly is affecting the satisfaction of the policyholder and customers as well.
Absolutely. It's the way how we want to approach our brokers, or the way how we work together. It's really in close partnership. Whatever we do, we always communicate in the name of Baloise Insurance, obviously, but also in the name of the broker. So if I'm going to target Poiras, chances are that we're going to say, look, this is a gift. It's a letter from Baloise Insurance and your broker, Gurol. This way, the broker is always involved. He's always the first person, because he's also the person who will have to resolve the problem. If you have a problem, you're going to call your broker and not immediately Baloise. It's a funny, insurance is in that perspective a very special world. Have you ever heard about the paradox of insurance?
I didn't hear the term, but I have some ideas about what it might be. But okay, I'm sure you will explain us.
In most businesses, the best customer is the customer that most frequently uses your product or service. The best customer of Coca-Cola is the person who drinks a lot of Coca-Cola. The best customer of an insurance company is the customer that we never hear, because that means that you're doing well and that basically you don't need our support and it's not going to cost us any money. And that's something, it's an objective that we share with the customer. We like that our customers are doing well because we want them to be in the best possible conditions, but the customer doesn't want claims either. They don't. Using our services is not an objective, or it's not a mission. It's a safety net. That's what we provide. We provide safety nets. We provide peace of mind. We make sure that you can sleep at night.
Yeah, actually, you are trying to avoid those reasons, but when they do happen, you make sure that the safety net is there in a customer-friendly way, in a way that the customer experiences a good outcome, a satisfactory outcome out of it. Yeah,
that's a promise we made to the customer.
Yep.
If you need our help, we'll be there.
Yep. Kurt, following on our discussion, my next question will be around the new reality we are all facing. As you know, since March this year, it has been very abnormal times. Obviously, every industry, every individual is affected. I'm wondering how you guys are coping with the new situation. What are some of the things that you are doing it to make sure that customer experience is not affected negatively?
Well, needless to say, that COVID had a huge impact on our business, just like it had an enormous impact on everybody's business. We're already talking about the new normal, because everything that we were used to, everything that seemed normal to us, to travel, to have meetings, to brainstorm with like 10 people in one room, it's like, it's unbelievable, but it's almost science fiction now. So pretty much we had to reinvent ourselves, and in the beginning it was really a challenge, because we are now having this discussion via a Zoom meeting, but back in March it was all of a sudden we were in a lockdown in Belgium. We couldn't go to Antwerp or Brussels anymore, so we had to start looking for alternative ways, and obviously you have Skype and Zoom and Teams and everything, but yeah, people had to get used to it. People who are every day in a production environment, being in claims or in in IT or whatever, yeah, all of a sudden you had to do that from home, and pretty much was a big challenge. But at Baloise, we immediately targeted three different segments. We started in the first place. Our key asset are our employees, who, as I said, they had to be reassured. They had to have the tools. They had to be instructed on how to do that. So we spent quite some time and energy in giving confidence again to our employees. Um, One of our strategic ambitions at Baloise Insurance is to become employer of choice. So we really, it's a very concrete one. Baloise has a very human and personal approach. So three simple examples of things that we did is we basically wrote a manual on home working. How do you work in the most efficient way from home? I have three kids. I know that you have a small child as well. So I mean, you also know how it is working, having to deal with clients or suppliers, and with a kid running around in the house. It's not always that easy. So we wrote a manual about it, and a key element in that is taking frequent breaks, making sure that you can combine stuff. I'm having this discussion from my kitchen, but every weekend I break down my desk in the kitchen just to make sure that at least you have the feeling that the weekend is there. We started sending out "Stay Healthy at Home" newsletters with healthy recipes, tips for exercise. We created the Baloise Family Walks. It's also an initiative for another target group, but where we use it as well for our employees. It's a collection of 20 walks spread all over the country, that you specifically targeting families with kids. And a third one, because we really noticed that some of our colleagues I started having issues being home alone, having very few personal contacts. So we also provided psychological assistance for those who needed it. Fortunately, it was for a minority, but still, I'm pretty happy that we were able to offer that to our colleagues. Second target group, you can already guess, it's the broker, because for them as well, they have an insurance shop where they are used to having customers over. All of a sudden, their office was closed, and we helped them to reach out to their customers. How to, for people in the day-to-day business, it's almost a habit to do Skype calls, to do Zoom calls, but for an independent broker, it's far less. It's far less an evidence or something that you can take for granted. So one of the things that we did there is we started doing webinars on how to reach out to the customer from a distance. And it was a huge success. It was we were the first company who did something similar for that specific target group. And we had the wild idea, okay, let's start with two sessions of each 200 brokers. But we immediately had to expand to 2, 3, 4 additional webinars because the demand was so big. We also got a lot of very positive feedback on that. And something that is keen for us, for Baloise, is a clear and transparent communication. Everything we did, we clearly communicated. It was always cards on the table. So yeah, that's what we did for the brokers. And then the third one is the end customer. I already mentioned the Baloise Family Walks. One of the things one of the big issues that we noticed with in the beginning of the lockdown was the social distancing. All of a sudden, people were distanced from the people they love most. In many cases, grandparents, parents, living a little bit further away, or because the elderly, we had to protect them a little bit extra. So all of a sudden, all connection was cut. We set up a campaign via which a customer could send pictures of the family to their beloved ones. It was a campaign that we started purely online in collaboration also with our brokers, and with a very simple message. We hope to see you soon again. Love you. With the logo of the broker, the logo of Baloise, and it was something that went viral immediately. We had between 20 and 30,000 envelopes that we sent out with pictures, actually. So it was a very nice campaign. It was also something that was very much appreciated. So those are the three target groups, and that's pretty much what we did.
Choice. It's indeed a very nice campaign. I think you guys also addressed the COVID challenge from an ecosystem perspective. Again, like it's not just the customers, it's not just the employees. Again, it's not just the brokers. All of them need to be addressed in parallel, because if you only address employees, for instance, like you already mentioned in the beginning, broker is a very important stakeholder in your business. Again, if you just address brokers and employees, how about the customers? So all of them have to be addressed together to make an impact.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Impressive. It's all or nothing.
Yep. Actually, my last question to you will be around how about other things? Because there was a life before COVID, and I'm not sure if there will be after COVID. Probably we will learn to live.
I'm sure
together.
It will.
Yeah, we will learn to live somehow, but obviously it won't be the primary agenda in front of humanity forever. So I know you guys are already very active in thinking about the future and preparing the future of Baloise Insurance in the insurance world. You even entered certain competitions, and you got awards for it as well. Maybe can we learn about how you guys are thinking about the future drivers of insurance going forward, and how you guys are preparing for them?
Yeah, well, I would like to start with a quote from somebody we both know quite well, Don Peppers, who at a certain point said, if you don't have a customer, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And basically it's the hard truth. So I already told you in the beginning of our conversation that we are working in a small saturated market, but it means that as a company, as an insurance company, we have to continue to reinvent ourselves, and we need to start looking for new opportunities. Not only opportunities, because that sounds maybe too opportunistic, but as I said before, we provide peace of mind. We make sure that you can sleep at night. The opportunities, aka the dangers, are also changing. If I compare myself and my parents when I still was a kid living with them, their needs were completely different than the needs that I'm facing today. Whereas if my youngest daughter will leave the house in probably 15 years from now, or whatever, her needs will also be different, because my needs will already become obsolete. And the example that you refer to is, for instance, cyber danger. It's something that 20 years ago nobody ever heard about. But today, everything is online. Everything will increase to become online, especially in difficult times like these, where I'm doing all my Christmas shopping online instead of going to a shop. So chances are that everybody knows stories about Marriott hotels or LinkedIn that has been hacked. Personal data is pretty much a new gold. That's why we're all discussing the importance of customer experience and NPS and those kind of things. So that's why we've created CyberSafe Family. It's a cyber insurance targeting families, where we basically provide. Um, it's built on three pillars. First pillar is prevention. You can store all your personal data in a tool. Your personal data will be monitored 24/7. If there's a breach, you will be alerted so that at least you can resolve the problem and make sure it doesn't grow bigger. If you had a breach and you are in a problem, well, then there's a safety net of the insurance solution that we provide, including legal assistance, but will also help you to clean up the mess. If, very stupid example, there is something put on the internet that you don't like, we can't remove it, but we will make sure that it's snowed under, or that at least your problem gets resolved. That's an insurance that, at this point, it's not a mass product. It's very niche. It's only few customers need it today. But I'm convinced that over the next couple of years, and within 10, 15 years, it will become a very common insurance. It will be very common to have a cyber insurance. At least that's something that we strongly believe in, that we like to invest in, and for which, that's the reference that you made, for which at the most recent EFMA and Accenture Innovation and Insurance Awards, we were named the most innovative insurance product of 2020. Something that I was really honored and very happy that we received that prize. Yeah, thanks a lot. So that's one thing. Trying to look at new ways, that new products that Robin, Chris, Roger, and Tina might need. Remember the 4 personas?
Yep.
It's also something that we take with us when developing those kind of things. Cyber was launched last year. Next year, and basically building a little bit on the COVID issue, everybody started riding his bike again. In next month, we're going to launch a new bicycle insurance that also includes an insurance safety net, assistance, roadside assistance, and something extra. But I'll tell you more about that in a later stage. We're really convinced that customer needs are evolving, and being there where the customer needs you is the key to success. That's something that I always strongly believed in. So that's also one of the reasons why Baloise is implementing an investment strategy. Customers are looking beyond insurance. It's not only about the safety net, it's also the little extra. That's what makes the Baloise insurance different from, for instance, an AXA or an Allianz insurance. I have a very concrete example. Most recently, we've invested in a couple of startups in Belgium, adding to our home proposition, where, for instance, we invested in Keypoint, which will allow brokers to propose repair in kind, or where if you have an immediate problem, then at least you have a professional craftsman you can call and who can help you. But I have a very cool example from our colleagues in Switzerland, who in that story you need to understand that the Swiss market is very rental driven. It's very uncommon for a Swiss person to buy a house. It's more common that they will rent an apartment or a house, and if they get fed up, they move to another place. So Baloise Insurance invested in Switzerland in, for instance, Bubblebox, which is a chain of dry cleaning services. They also invested in a moving company because, as I said, you rent an apartment, but then you move to another place, you will need moving services. So if you are insured with Baloise, those are all kinds of services that you can benefit from. And that's also something that you see in the Belgian market. Many of our friends and competitors are approaching their clientele in similar ways. A very concrete example is of a competitor of ours who bought the football rights. So every time they have an app, every time a goal is scored, you get it pushed on your telephone. It has nothing to do with insurance, but it's the new need. That's what customers are looking for: added value, value-added services. And then a third thing that I wanted to share with you is I don't know if you know the book of The Mobility Revolution, written by Lucas Neckermann. It's definitely something that you should read, or it's definitely for your followers a good hint. It's nice reading material. It pretty much goes. It tells about the 3 zeros: zero accidents, zero ownership, zero emission. And that's also the future of the customer. Uh, when I was young, when I turned 18, the first thing I wanted to do was drive a car, have my own car, and go out. Whereas youngsters, they feel that need much less. Car sharing, private lease, it are all elements that, yeah, they didn't exist a few years ago, but they are the hard reality today. Um, so as Baloise, we are anticipating on this. Um, we partnered up with a car sharing platform in Antwerp, together with Audi and Volkswagen, um, providing cars available for people living in Antwerp. And with an easy app, you can open or close the car. Sorry. Pardon. And Baloise is the insurance company behind it. Private lease, we launched a couple of years ago a private lease solution via the broker. So where instead of going to a garage, buying a car, and having the salesman asking you, shall I insure it? Now the broker can invite you in and say, Gudol, your car, almost 8 years old, time for something new. How about a safe lease? You can lease it from me. And it's pretty much any car you want. We've probably all seen the video of Amazon where they deliver parcels at home via drones. I sincerely think that's a window for the future. If I'm working from home, like most of the people, and if I see the number of vans passing my house, delivering parcels, not in the least at my place, I'm convinced that if they find a way to do the transportation by drones, it will be a quick win. We invested this year, or no, it was last year, in a project together with another company called Helicus, where we are the insurance company behind it, obviously, but it's about transportation of organs from to the hospital. So that's something that already is taking place today. Yeah? It's they're doing transportation between different hospitals by using drones on a very low scale, but yeah, it will increase. That's according to me also part of the future. That's the direction we're going to, and there's much more, but that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you.
Great. I think these are all great examples, and it proves how you guys at Baloise Insurance are taking the future seriously, because it's not just one example. You mentioned like 4 or 5 examples. So it's not like a random initiative. Okay, let's do this, guys, type of thing. Mm-hmm. It's a continuous, structured effort. That's, I think, impressive when I think about it. And also the examples you gave, the cyber safe, the car sharing, the moving company partnership in this, your Swiss colleagues have achieved, etc. These are all showing how you guys are thinking in terms of how you would like to address customer expectations. So it's not typical insurance related offerings. It is obvious that you guys are thinking, what do these customers need? When they move, what do they need? When they surf and purchase online, what do they need? And it doesn't have to be a traditional insurance offering, but something beyond, together with the partnerships. That's very impressive. Actually, we kept you for a long time already, Kurt. I think we covered the topics we would like to cover today as per the plan. I would like to thank you very much once again for your great insights and all the examples that you have shared with us. Once again, thank you very much, Kurt.
Thank you, Gürol. It was a big pleasure.
Likewise. I also would like to thank our listeners. If you have any questions going forward to Kurt or myself, please feel free. You can also send an email to info@alternativex.com if you want. You can also see a copy of this recording of the session between Kurt and I on our website under the resources tab, worldwideweb.alternativex.com again. Thank you very much to you all, and looking forward to see you next time. Have a nice day.
Thanks a lot. Be safe, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.